All right, well, we're here for our final match of the week here for week two, and we have a the return of the Wheel of Stipulations that we saw first debuted at the end of Merchant Machine League. We got our resident Wheel of Stipulation master Cody against Zeke this time, who's agreed to step up, and they landed on a stip for the first match called "How Low Can You Go," where they had to play the worst cards in their pool. Basically, they had to find which colors had the lowest rated cards by game in hand win rate, um, and they had to basically build a deck out of those two colors. So basically, they're still out. They're still going to have a functional deck. It won't be like five colors or anything, but basically looking at more or less, some of the least played cards. So what's
So
Zeke
not,
holding over
not so
there,
much
man?
deck building, just the kind of stipulation that relies on you playing whatever the deck builds for you.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Started with 3 mountains. Decided to keep 3 mountains with three blue cards and a cast into fire. Finally got the island, but there's two Arwen's gifts: the Captain of Umbar, which is the looter, a Gimli's axe. I'm not surprised it's low, but it is red,
yeah.
and a Swarm of Saruman, which I don't know how much play it sees, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I would have just guessed that no matter what your pool is like, you would play green based on this, just because the green cards are, much lower performers. But Zeke just simply did not have enough green cards to fill out a curve, so ended up playing blue and red, and I believe his lowest rated card was the double Storm of Saruman, the mythic enchantment. So uh, we'll see if he gets to resolve that, maybe. So Cody just has a bunch of cards he can cast in his hand. None of them are actually terrible cards. Banish from Edoras, the removal. Ents Fury, the removal. Uh, Galadrin Bow, the equipment that with Flash. And now Soldier of the Grey Host, which he's casting in a couple lands. So, I mean, functional hand. I mean, look, these cards are not great, but they're getting the job done here, certainly. Zeke's finding
This
himself
is
at
all you
8
need. A
already.
4 mana 4/4 on curve.
So Zeke's going to have to find answers here. Gimli's Axe is not going to do it, unfortunately.
Actions are not in the hand. You got Surrounded by Orcs and Knights of Amroth, which gets bigger if you draw two, but this game's gonna end very soon because it's 4 mana 4/4.
Yeah, if I'm gonna have 4/4 versus a 3/3, well, in fact, if he just plays a 3/3 and has nothing else to do, the Ents Fury is actually just gonna end the game. It's gonna deal. It's gonna
Not a very
deal.
long game.
It's gonna deal 8 here. So,
I'm not. I'm not exaggerating when I say the deck building was longer than the game.
the deck building was definitely longer than the game here. I mean, what can you do? He played his creatures. Zeke stumbled. Uh, so unfortunately, not a very competitive first match there. So we're gonna stay on. I'm gonna keep the video rolling here. We're gonna move to our next stipulation. So, yeah, unfortunately, just not the most competitive game there. All right, we're gonna go back to the wheel, and I think it stayed on the wheel, but we can just respin if it ends up there. All right, so we're ready for another spin here. Some of these have code names, which means it's written down somewhere what all these mean. Maybe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a brawl match. So that should be fun.
No code
So
name.
gotta choose a legendary, and we're playing a game of brawl here. So we'll follow one of them while deck building here. Uh, I got here. I'll pull up. Whoop, I'll stop streaming. I'll pull up Cody here. He's all full screen. Yeah, so we can follow Cody while he's
All right.
building his deck here. If the players want to deafen, so we can talk about the decks, that would be good.
Zeke is deafened, so well, Cody's not deafened yet. There,
Nope.
Cody's deaf.
Okay, cool. So let's just so you can follow Zeke's options, see what he's thinking about. Cody has immediately pulled his King of the Oathbreakers forward, uh, and immediately has put his triple Claim the Precious into his deck. So I think he's got an idea of what he wants to do here. Very,
Oh
very
yeah.
powerful commander. Just like a basically pseudo hexproof commander, which is just very difficult to deal with. Just keeps hitting you for 3. And it bears the ring very
Zeke
nicely.
Zeke immediately brought the is it colored Gandalf the Grey in with the 3 different triggers, with a Bilbo, and most of the screen is his card pool right now. I can't see too many of the cards. I see a Fear Fire Foes and a couple draw spells.
All right, yeah. Cody basically immediately pulled his commander in and is now just filling out the rest of his deck. He has as a lot of times black is just very, very deep. He has a lot of good cards. He's just deciding what to do here. So they do have a 5-minute timer here, which we're 2 minutes into. So we got a couple minutes left. Basically, the point is they can't just sit and decide forever. But yeah, like I said, Cody had a very fast choice. So does Zeke have a commander here? I'm assuming he's building
Yeah,
something.
Gandalf the Grey. Didn't put it
Okay.
into the command zone quite yet. It was separated. I also noticed he has. I'm not even exaggerating. I would think 100 tabs open, which is impressive.
I usually have one, sometimes 2.
You know what? I got about a dozen
Yeah,
sometimes,
that
depending.
okay. That's like probably more in the normal range. So he's got what is it? 4 Mirkwood bats here, Cody. So he's looking to make some tokens. He has Oath of the Grey Host. Yeah, Gandalf the Grey, really cool card. Basically rewards you when you play instants or sorceries. It can protect itself by putting itself on top of the library. It could also do a bunch of other stuff. So really cool card. Um, we'll see how that matches up against this King of the Oathbreakers and just the high quality of the black cards here. Um, so Zeke
Both
is
breakers
Zeke
on
is running
4.
back blue red, I guess. But unfortunately, he can only play 1 Storm of Saruman in his brawl deck.
That is true.
Well, are we
Um,
going with because Cody is dragging like 4 copies of Mirkwood bats? Are we? This would not be a legal brawl deck, right?
yeah, it's not legal. There's only one of here. Perhaps. I mean, he'll find out very soon that a challenge in brawl mode is not going to work with that deck. Maybe we should send him a message.
Yeah, I'm sending him a message.
All right.
He says he has responded with an obscenity. Not towards me, but just towards the fact
Brawl
that
doesn't equal. Just have a commander.
he was all excited here about his triple claim the precious quadruple Mirkwood Bats deck. That's not quite going to work out.
Yeah, you gotta have a commander, but they're also one ofs. It's not just a regular match with commanders.
Yep. Yeah, the only exception was the draftable commander sets where you could have multiples of a card, like the Commander Legends and Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. Those you could actually.
Oh,
It
question:
was not a singleton format. You could actually do that.
I'm gonna guess the answer is no, but what about Nazgul? A deck can have up to 9.
Yes,
Does it break it?
yes,
You can have.
you're allowed. You're allowed to have multiple.
Well, seems to break the rule. So commander, no wonder people want this for to collect them, and they're expensive because they're 9
Yeah,
different art, and you can play them in commander.
yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. There's a few cards like that. Shadowborn Apostle is a card that sees play a lot of playing commander. It's like you sack 6 of them to go get a demon into play. Yeah, there's
There's
like
one more card in what is it, Ravnica Allegiance?
persistent
Or
petitioners. Yeah, there's 7 dwarves, which you can have up to 7. So yeah, you can play multiple Nazguls. Cody does not have any Nazguls, so here we are. So we should be
Thanks for
getting.
reminding.
Sorry.
it's a restriction
Thanks
in.
for reminding me it was Singleton. I totally forgot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't think.
I was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, triple claim the precious, all these bats. I was like, ah, this is good. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is not
Zeke is
allowed.
building correctly, unless he just didn't have the choice, but I feel like he had the choice.
Yeah. So we're
Trying to see
just
what's in his. Okay, so Zeke's got. I mean, the cards you'd expect, to be honest.
Yeah, so he's running back blue red. Wasn't a performer last time, but he gets to put in some good cards this time. Looks like Cody's got his deck here. Just got to add some lands.
Trying to get a look, but he's changing the deck type to friendly brawl here.
As you
Yeah,
should. Yeah.
Bilbo.
He has a Bilbo too.
Got the 5-mana
If
Eomer
he
with
has a Bilbo, I almost want to run that as a commander. Seems like a better commander, honestly.
on 3. On 3?
Comes out
Yeah.
on 3 and starts attacking and getting treasures, and then you do all sorts of other stuff. Like,
Hard to block.
I would have to say Bilbo would be a almost infinitely better commander just because of the cheap aspect and the fact that it's a snowball card, right?
And maybe we should mention that week. What is it? Week 5 is actual brawl for this league.
Yeah, we won't. The future matches are only going up to next week because of my travels, but stay tuned, all those brawl lovers out there. It's coming. It's coming in week 5. I know I'll be watching, but
Michael's got a 3 of a kind Pippin, rare Pippin, which is really good, but it doesn't do much for brawl. We're only running one of them anyway. To have 3 of them.
It's a very good commander though.
Oh yeah, for sure. 2-drop, the lower the curve you can get.
Looks
you
like
can only
they
guarantee
are
2.
in the game. So, the recording's already running, so we don't have to start that. But yeah, I'll keep with Cody-Rayce here. So hopefully we get a competitive game. Maybe a game 3 here. We always want to see a game 3 with the Wheel of Stipulations, right?
4 different colors represented here too.
Yeah. So
Not
we got everything except green. So big surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gandalf coming down the turn after King of the Oathbreakers. Let me remind myself what Gandalf can do besides bounce himself into the deck here. Deals 3 damage to each opponent, tap or untap a permanent, or copy an instant or sorcery spell you control.
Yeah, copy the instant sorcery is obviously the most powerful one. But basically, if he gets targeted, you can protect it, or if you've used all the other options, you could then reset it by putting it on top of your deck, or you could also just not. You could just leave it in play. I think
any instant protect them from a spell or something.
So nice little start here from Cody here. Some of the premium cards from the set here, at least at common and uncommon. The Golem and the Dunland Crabane. And here's going to come King of the Oathbreakers. This is just such a difficult card to deal with. You cannot target it with a spell, basically.
I suppose one of the answers is a Reacher, and there is a Reacher in hand. Unfortunately, it's statted 2/3, the Spearmaster.
Yeah, so at least one thing, like when King of the Oathbreakers enters into combat, you can target your creature that you're blocking it with a pump spell, but the controller of the king cannot unless he wants to phase out. So he's getting a good look at a bunch of spells here, all pretty reasonable. I mean, they're all 4s except for one of them. So it's
I didn't get a chance to mention what's in the hand. So thank you, Cody, for casting that card.
Cody's definitely ahead here. So he decided to look at the hand instead of casting King of Oathbreakers. He said, "I get a bigger attack. Let's see what he's working with there." Obviously, sees that there's no island presently.
Flavor Win is glowing into Gimli because I think that's Gimli's dad.
Oh, okay. I'm not the one to comment on flavor. I think I read the first book in Lord of the Rings and saw the movies way back when, but
I could be wrong, but it would make a treasure too because I think it makes a treasure on any legendary being.
It's whenever you cast a historic spell, I think, but only once a turn you get the treasure.
Yeah, it's on cast. Yeah, and it's historic.
So he's just got another very clean attack here with the bird and the 4/4, and he could just play his commander, honestly. Like the rest of his hand is not doing much here. He's got Limbus, Nimble Hobbit. He's got the Stalwarts of Osgiliath, which is a nice 5-drop, and Second Breakfast, the pump spell where you could give 2 creatures a pump and get a little food token.
King of the Oathbreakers. Not only is it incredibly hard to deal with, the 3 attack in the air is just about as big as any air creature is going to get. I mean, there's a couple that are that big, I suppose, but wow, you can't ignore it.
And it wears the ring nicely as well.
Yeah.
And again, just there's very few ways to kill it. I mean, it can be targeted by abilities, so there's a couple things that can nab it, but very, very narrow ways to deal with it. I believe the Goblin Fire Leaper, when it dies, it could target it.
Yeah.
the Shire Sheriff can target it, but for the most
Yeah.
part,
Didn't even read.
not so much. So he's going to get his Stalwarts of Osgiliath here with his 5th land. It's going to ring tempt. We're going to get a loot, and it's going to get a counter. So it's exactly what you want to do with the card. You want your ring to already be on 1, and you get the counter immediately, and a ring tempt and a 5-mana 5/4 that ring tempts is very good. Way better than a 4/3. So he's just
Would
gonna.
Bilbo have helped a situation here? On red, 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 Bilbo starts making treasures. I'm just wondering about the choice of Gandalf over Bilbo.
Yeah, so he's just trying to get this game over with. Is Cody? Uh, he did see Zeke had a bunch of stuff in hand, but he's not being able to cast it efficiently, and he's got flying here. Zeke's got the
Nothing
2/3
much.
reach creature but that blocks neither of the flyers. So the game's just going to end very quickly if he can't interact, and we're looking at as potentially early as next turn, the game being done. Yeah, he sees the writing on the wall here. So unfortunately, we got the fun of the steps, but unfortunately the games didn't pan out this time. Not too competitive here. So congratulations to Cody on his win with the Wheel of Stipulations, and we'll see you next week.